Let me start with a quiz. What do you guys see here? A cow? Yes. A rope? Yes. A pole? Yes. But there's something more over here, and I'll answer that little later. So this cow is tied to the pole with the rope, and when she starts grazing, she grazes only in the circle which gets created by rope around the pole. And over a period of time, it starts believing that that's the only universe and domain she has for grazing. Over a period of time, rope goes away, pole goes away, but cow continues to graze the same way because she has a mental rope and she has got habits of grazing in the same place. And there lies the second answer. This is not a picture of only a cow. It's also a picture of all of us. We are just like this cow, tied to a pole of beliefs, social conditioning, our personal experiences, our collective experiences, and people's expectations. And most difficult ones are which we create in our own head. Somebody told us in our childhood, this is not for you. A label we gave ourselves, it's not my type. The world tells us, play safe. And today we'll see how we can untie ourselves from this pole of beliefs and we can fly. Now, why breaking the barriers is important? Breaking the barriers is very important. In a very interesting study, Harvard researchers worked on an experiment where they studied mothers under stress and also recorded the infant's brain activity after that. So the mothers were having growth mindset where they thought, I can solve this problem, let me handle it. Babies' responses also were agile, good responses, healthy responses. And when the mothers under stress had fixed mindset saying that I can't do anything about it, let's see what happens, babies' brains also slowed down. And there lies the trick. It's not only in brains, it's not only mental, it is biological. So when you have barriers, it also echoes in the next generation. Indian women's cricket team won recently the World Cup. And our captain, Harmanpreet Kaur, when she spoke, she said, I'm very happy that we broke this barrier. Barrier of not winning the World Cup. They lost a couple of times in the finals before that. And when she says that she broke the barriers, she broke the barrier for everybody else around her also. People from different streams of sports, people from different streams of life. For all of them, she set an example and they all will start believing that they can break this barrier too because somebody around them did. So when you break a barrier, you break it for yourself, you break it for people around you, break it for current generation, and you also break it for generations to come. So let's look at some of the people who broke barriers. Who are these gentlemen? They are the ones who had a bicycle shop for their livelihood. But they saw the birds flying and they said, if birds can fly, so can humans. And they started working on a flying machine. They tried, they failed. They tried, they failed. They tried and finally they succeeded. Yes, they are Wright brothers who invented flying machine and literally humanity learned how to fly after that. Who is this gentleman? You can see his name on his jersey. He is Usain Bolt. He's the fastest man on the earth. He ran 100 meters in 9.58 seconds and that record holds true for last 17 years. And how he did it? He practiced, practiced and practiced some more. He has a very famous quote where he says, I practiced for 4 years to run for 9 seconds. And who is she? She's not a celebrity. She's not a historical figure. She's like one of us. She's my mother. Married at a very early age and with hardly any formal education, but all her life, while raising her 4 children and building her own house, in her domain, she continued to excel, continued to break barriers. Especially in the last 4 years of my father's illness. My father had dementia, which is a difficult disease to manage at home. My mother was a primary caregiver. She managed home and she also managed all the external domains like bank work, financial work, hospitals, doctors, everything she did. And she remains my role model for breaking barriers and how to break barriers. Now, even my own experience of building multiple first of its kind companies. My first company, iSeva, which was one of the first few BPO companies in the country, and my current company, Portea Medical, which is India's largest home healthcare services company. We have served over 2 million patients already in the last 12 years, created this service which never existed in this country. And in last 12 years of building this, we have faced many barriers which we have worked on or overcoming, including a black swan event of COVID. So in my own experience and all the observations I've had with other people around me, I generally believe for us to break any barriers, for us to do any transformation, we need to work on 4 key dimensions. I call it the UVAA model, the model for the youth, model for this country. And this is not a motivational talk, it is basically mental engineering. So what is the current UVAA model? This is the UVAA model. The first, it starts with U. U is understanding the goal, the why of it. We all want to break barriers. We all want to create big things. But why you want to do that? Because your friends are doing it, your neighbors are doing it, your parents expect you to do that? No. You should look at goals which align with your core values and which basically make you joyful. That's something which is very important. Is it your calling? The why clarity is very important because that clarity will create energy for you. And anybody who has clarity is always has a lot more probability of follow through than people who don't. So it's very important to find the why of your goal, understand the goal. The second piece of this is visualization. There you see how the success will look. The see it before I do it layer. Elite athletes do it all the time. They see themselves at finishing line even before starting the race. Neuroscientists have found out that if you visualize any event, any episode in full detail, you activate the same brain circuits as you will do when you really perform it. And you should visualize it with all the hindrances along the way because that will help you to train your mind for resilience. So this is the seed before do it layer where it's not just a fantasy, it's a mental rehearsal. The third one is analyze the step-by-step process. That's where most of people fail. They will think of doing big things, think of doing great things, but they don't work out the details. I call it the workflow creation, workflow management. From point A of a starting point to the point end where you have the finishing line, break the whole process step by step and detail it out. New York University researchers found out that people who create simple if and then scenarios are 90% more likely to execute their plans. And when you work on creating the plan, also look at the team which will work with you. All of you are successful, have done well in life, are sitting here. You have not done it alone. The team has worked with you, the people have worked with you, visibly or invisibly. Could be your parents, family, friends, teachers, guide, mentors. Especially in corporate world, it becomes a lot more important. You are as good as your team. And nothing gets done without a good team coming together. In Indian parlance, we call it Sangh. So if you want to create the right environment, that is the right team. And you want to have the right attitude, with that you can create the real growth environment. And once you've written the process, worked out the details, review it, refine it, and repeat it. And last one we come to apply yourself. What you need to do after you got the plan ready, you 100% apply yourself with full energy at your disposal. And what kind of energy do you have? You have 4 kinds of energy. You have mental energy, physical energy, emotional energy, and spiritual energy. And if you put all of those 4 together and focus on your goal, every single hindrance can be broken into pieces like a laser beam. That's the kind of power you create by putting all your energies together. As President Kalam once said, dream is not something which you see while you're sleeping. Dream is something which doesn't allow you to sleep. And that's the level of focus, single-minded focus you need to build. And while you're doing that, along the way, there'll be good days, there'll be bad days, there'll be average days. What do you do then? Don't negotiate with yourself. Get up, dress up, and show up. It's very critical for us to focus on our goal repeatedly. So if you look at the UVAA model and think of a flight, what you do, you understand why you want to fly, you visualize the flight, then you build the wings, and then you just fly. This very interesting story from Mahabharata. A very famous Guru Dronacharya took all his disciples outside. He wanted them to focus on the bird's eye, aim for the bird's eye. And he asked all of them, what do you see? Somebody said, I see the trees. Somebody said, I see the leaves. Somebody said, I see the branch. Somebody said, I see the bird. Then he asked Arjun, what do you see? Arjun said, I see bird's eye. And that's the level of focus all of us need to do. And once you have done this focus, once you have got this habit of giving your 100% to any particular task, you are already in top 1% of this world. Because in today's world, with all the distractions, where attention spans have come down to seconds. For you to have ability and for you to have habit of giving 100% for any particular situation is really, really a big differentiator. And once you have learned the art of it, given 100%, then there's no way results won't come. Results will come sooner or later. And why do I say that? You could be a spiritual person, you could be a religious person, or you could be a person with scientific bent of mind. In both the cases, there is evidence for that. If you are a spiritual person, religious person, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says in Gita, Karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Do the work, leave the rest to me, I'll take care of it. And if you're a person with scientific bent of mind, Newton said exactly the same thing. For every action, there's an equal or opposite reaction. So just focus on your work, follow your model, and results will come. Now, any model will work like any dish with a secret sauce. Secret sauce will give it the right flavor, secret sauce will give it the right aroma, and secret sauce will give it the right taste. So what is the secret sauce for your model? The secret sauce for your model is faith, what we also call Shraddha. Faith is not a passive emotion. Faith is a pre-commitment to action-led behavior. And who's the best example of somebody who is fully focused on action while having 100% faith? That's our favorite Lord Hanuman. Again, a famous story from Ramayana. So while Rama is searching for Sita, they reach Rameshwaram. And then they know that, okay, Sita could be in Sri Lanka. And then he tells Hanuman, why don't you go and find Sita ji? And Hanuman says, yes, Lord, I will go. But how she will know that I have sent you? That you have sent me. And Lord Rama says, you take this ring of mine. And when you see her, show her this ring. She will know that I have sent you. Now Lord Hanuman takes this ring and he goes and stands in front of the sea. And vast sea, at that time, the Ram Setu was not built, and he's thinking how he will cross the sea. And that's where comes the famous verse of Hanuman Chalisa. Prabhu mudrika meli mukh mahi, jaladi langai acharaj nahi. So Hanumanji puts the ring of God in his mouth and just takes a giant leap. With full faith, with full focus and attention, and he crosses the sea and reaches Lanka. Now, this can be your story too. From a cow tied down to a pole of beliefs to a sea-crossing Hanuman. This can be your journey. You can break all barriers and be a person who can just fly and bridge all the gaps. Follow the UVAA model with full faith in your own powers and in all the superior powers you want to believe in, or you truly believe in. With that, the world is yours. All the best. Thank you.